It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast. Today we're going to talk a little bit about our Ohio trip and also some things that to check on when you're not feeling necessarily the way you feel like you need to be feeling. And we'll talk about that right after these important messages. This episode of the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast is presented by Faulkner University. Faulkner University is a private Christian liberal arts university based in Montgomery, Alabama, with a mission to provide an education anchored by not only intellect, but also character and service. The Faulkner experience aims to educate the whole person. Every individual matters every day. We all want to become better versions of ourselves. No one wants to remain trapped where they are because of missed opportunities and unrealized dreams. At Faulkner University, we believe your dreams don't have an expiration date. We understand that you're looking for more than a degree. You want to find your niche and thrive in your career. Whether you're a high school senior just beginning your trek or an adult student looking for a better path, Faulkner is here to help guide your journey. Go to faulkner.edu to apply or get more info. That's faulkner.edu. I'm Travis Creasy, and that's All Pro Counselor with 3 Chord Counseling in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. The one, the only, my cousin, 9 months older than me, Ben Hayes. How's it going, bro?
Man, it's going good. I got to spend the weekend with you. I mean, it couldn't be much better than that. So We've had a good time. Adding Ohio to our checklist of places that we've got to go and do this kind of stuff together. So fun times have been had.
So doing the...
Maybe I haven't driven you too crazy.
Oh, no. I owe you so much after all the things you should be crazy by now that I've done in your life. So, the Helping Healing Humor mental health workshop born out of this podcast. We got to take it on the road to Zanesville, Ohio. That's about 9 hours from you.
There's plenty of
maybe
stuff.
Should have a prayer for what's going on
there's
here.
A lot
goes down the road.
A lot of sirens going off.
But other than that, it's been a really straightforward trip. It's been great. Somerset Church of Christ and Norval Park Church of Christ got together in a joint venture to bring us here, and we've been at Norval Church of Christ all weekend. You had a lesson on Friday night. We hammered out like 5 lessons today at Norval Park, and you'll be headed back to Norval Park, and I will be heading to Somerset on Sunday.
And I think there were a lot of other churches in the area that came and participated.
Up to 10.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, they said 10, and I know at least as far away as West Virginia, and that's not terribly far from where we're at, but an hour or so, I believe. And so, there's a lot of churches, a lot of people, a lot of age differences. We had a lot of older folks that were there for it. We had a lot of parents who were there for it, and then we had a lot of kids that were there. So I thought it was a really great time.
Yeah, very encouraging. You feel like you're impacting people, and then people come up to you and go, "Hey, you're impacting me," and you're like, "Okay, how?" And it's all good. It's all good. Yeah. Shout out to Andy Hill, really encouraging us this week and through the podcast and the different things that he's going and dealing with and telling us that we've helped him out a lot. And so, man, we certainly appreciate that. And, because
anytime people tell us that, we're like, hey, we got a listener.
We're doing this, and it's beneficial for us to kind of talk about these things, but you never know who all's out there listening. So thanks, Andy, for coming up and letting us know that. It was very encouraging, and I thanked him profusely for sharing with us, and that's certainly what we want to do. We want the Lord to use this podcast to help people wherever they are, and the more you guys out there in interwebs land share and talk about the podcast, the more likely that is to happen. So thankful to all of you who support in all the different ways that you do, whether it's texting us encouragement or Patreon or sharing on your favorite social media platform or commenting. All those things, we don't go unnoticed. We see them and we appreciate them. And so
I think we had a couple of pre-orders for the book again.
Yes, we're still
and so that's always great. So if you are interested in Adventures of Ben and Travis and the Worry Coaster. We're looking forward to it coming out in a few months or several months, however long it takes to get it all accomplished and done. We are looking forward to it, so we hope that you'll go out there and get it.
Yeah, so we, as mentioned, we presented our lessons. I've got 2 more that I'll be doing at Somerset in the morning. But Ben, you kind of wrapped us up today, mainly the main part of the mental health workshop. And you kind of talked about things, levels to check when you don't feel 100%, maybe for an extended amount of time. It's not like, oh, for a couple of hours I didn't feel good, my stomach or my head hurt or different things like that. But, when you are off kilter, maybe some places that you start with and kind of work your way through and make sure you're doing the things that are necessary to stay healthy in those aspects.
Yeah, I mean, like if somebody comes in for counseling, we're gonna check some things. We're gonna ask some questions, and some of the things that we recommend, especially if you're having some really bad anxiety or depression or some other symptoms that are running through, you really want to make sure physically they've checked out, because there's things that can mimic. There's physical stuff that can make you feel like you're having some emotional things, and so it's just really good to maybe first off check off that physical checklist. And, is everything okay health wise? Do I need have some blood tests done, or just have a good checkup done, whatever, because testosterone levels can be off for men. A lot of times, other hormones can be off for anybody really. It might be sugar levels. It may be heart issues. I mean, there's a lot of different things that it's just a good idea to get a good checkup. But also, not just that, but I like to make sure, hey, are you exercising? You doing some things that will help you. I mean, those are things that help your mental health, just to be out, be active, be doing some things, whether that's walking or that's running or that's getting outside and playing with the kids or doing whatever. Exercise is a big help. And of course, I mean, because we do this perfectly, eating healthy is always great.
We smash some popcorn.
I don't know. Yeah. As we ate popcorn and had ice cream twice in 24-hour period.
Didn't have to say that.
And I probably shouldn't have sent you down.
Hot dogs.
Hot dogs. I mean, all kinds of good things that we've eaten on this trip. But generally speaking, overeating or just the way that you eat. Some of the things that you eat, there's things I eat that make me feel better. There's things I eat that definitely make me feel worse. Mm-hmm. So, we just have to, you want to check the physical aspects of things. And you know about that. I mean,
yes,
as a coach,
you want to make sure everything's on the up and up. And I know for men, all humans in general don't want to hear any bad news. And so why go poking around and looking for it? Because it's important. You
true.
Need to do that. Yeah. There's a reason behind that. And as somebody who has been diagnosed with leukemia, they were about to let me walk out of the office. They checked everything and went through all the checkups, not to give anybody any heart attacks or anything like that. But they'd done all the checkups, and they're like, hey, you are as healthy as anybody. We're going to go check your blood, and then we're going to get you out of here. And they went and checked my blood. And they got me out of there, but they sent me to another place.
To the hospital for the next month.
Yes, exactly. So, hey, think about your loved ones and getting those things. And there were things that had been off for weeks, probably 3 weeks before. And I just played them off as, well, I'm tired and I'm old. And you just kind of come up with all these excuses. And it's football season and I'm practicing and I'm just, all this stuff. And you can make excuses. But, start with, anytime something's wrong, my kids will tell you the first thing, have you drank any water today?
Yeah.
And so go drink some water. Maybe that helped.
Yeah, so I mean that's another part of that diet. Getting some water and staying hydrated is a huge thing.
Hey Dodgeball Daredevils, ready to jive and dodge for a cause? Swing by the Staying Alive Disco Dodgeball Tournament at Mars Hill Bible School in Florence, Alabama on August the 17th. Head to benandtravis.com/dodgeball to snag your or your team's spot and support St. Jude Children's Hospital. Let's dodge, dip, dive, duck, and donate our way to victory. It's going to be a blast, so don't miss out. Sponsorships are now available. For more information, email hello@benandtravis.com.
So the physical aspect is one of those things. Another thing I like to check on is, what about your social life? How's the social aspect of your life? And when I say socially, I also include with that not just relationships, but that's a big part. And do you have one of the questions I ask people? What is your support system? Who do you have as a support system? Do you have parents, grandparents, siblings? Whoever that may be, friends that you hang out with. Do you have people you talk to? Super thankful for a couple of the text groups that we have, because that's something that keeps me. There's days that I'm struggling, but I can find a good laugh with the text groups. I can find some support when you got.
And
when
here
I'm
recently,
down.
there have been days where we didn't even text each other.
No.
I get to the end of the day and I'm like, man, you're busy. If you're too busy to shoot a text, man, you got to be pretty busy. And sometimes I'll send something just to stir it up a little bit. But yeah, absolutely, there's a social aspect of. And this weekend is such a big deal.
Yeah.
It's so important to see the worldwide church and people who have a lot in common with you. And it's amazing that you can go and have it. We were talking about the other day. It's like Ohio's just like Alabama. It's just different geographically. It's just up north. And so much of the stuff is the same. And we have a lot in common. And everywhere we go, and especially within a church setting, I'm sure if you went around the room, you could find things that we disagree on, but generally speaking, we're all there to benefit the kingdom. So that social aspect of getting around people who are like-minded, but also we've challenged our own thought process, and certainly theirs this weekend, and everybody's okay with that. Like, we want to be willing to learn. So.
Well, and how many times do we talk about I have nothing in common with somebody? People make those statements a lot, and the truth is that we probably have more in common with people than we have not in common with them. A lot of times we think we have nothing in common, but it's not to be too silly about it, but we all breathe air, we all eat food, we all, have some team that we may cheer for. It just may be a different team, but, we all have the same wants and needs and likes and dislikes. There's going to be some things that we share. And so socially, not only the relationships, but just recreationally doing things that you enjoy. And I would clump that in with it, because most of the things I enjoy because I get to spend with other people.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy bow fishing, but it's because I get to go with other people. I'm probably not, I could go anytime I wanted and go stand on the bank with my bow, but I don't ever go do that, because I want to go with the people that I enjoy going with. Whether it's golfing, I don't do a whole lot of golfing by myself, but I enjoy going when we golf.
I never golf.
We're terrible.
Yeah, and that's why I'm terrible.
When we do it together, but we go and we have a good time, and so it's that social aspect that helps us so much. And the church is that, having a place, having a group of people that we can interact with, that we can lean on, that we can talk to. That's what the church is supposed to be. And a lot of people run away from the church. They feel like it's a place where people are going to judge them. I hope that that's not the case. I know that there are places that that's happened, but I know a lot of churches where that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of support, and there's a lot of love, and there's a lot of pushing in the right direction. And so that's really what we want to encourage you to do. So what do things look like physically? What do things look like socially? How are you interacting with the people around you?
Don't isolate.
Yeah, don't isolate. That's one of the worst things that can happen. And then finally, what are you doing spiritually? Like, what does your regiment look like? And I'll be the first to admit mine sometimes is kind of struggling. I get a lot of encouragement hearing Travis talk about the books he reads that are spiritually enlightening and pushing of him. And sometimes my regimen is I do chapel in the morning, so I got to get that ready. I do a ladies class on Thursday, so I got to get that ready. Yeah. And it's a lot of not personal study. I still feel like I get a lot out of it, but I would really like to be a little bit more regimented on my daily stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But all of us can do better in that, I'm sure.
And that there's challenges to that. I like how you mentioned that. I think that sometimes it's easy to get in a rut and you read the same thing that has the same way that you think. And obviously, if spiritually you're not in a place where you can read things that challenge you, there are different seasons in our life. I feel like I'm pretty solid in what I believe, and so I can read things that challenge my beliefs and cause me to grow, even from people who don't have a belief in the spiritual per se. And so it actually helps me connect with the God that I believe created the universe, and helps me to work through and process things and kind of wrestle, which God invites us to do. And that's what this whole podcast is built on, the stories of God showing up in our difficult times, and sometimes that may feel like we're wrestling with Him, but connecting at that spiritual level is so important. Whatever you may call it, we are Christians. We believe in Jesus. We believe in Yahweh God, the God of the Bible. That may not be where you're at right now. We would love to assist you in getting to that point, but we would encourage any journey, really, that might lead you in that process to the possibilities, and we certainly want to promote the Christian path. But whatever it is, find out, connect to that side of you, whatever words you want to call it. And of course, we would, as I've said, would encourage you. We believe in Jesus, and we believe He's the answer. And if you're not connected to Him, then there are going to be things that are out of whack and not the way they're supposed to be. And I think at every level that we've talked about.
Yeah, even in secular counseling, there's kind of a push for the spiritual aspect. Whether some people it doesn't end up being a God thing, but just connecting to the higher, a higher power. Lonnie has even talked about on his ropes courses when he's talking to secular groups, not church groups, about when you're climbing, you need to be connected to something higher than you. And for us, that's God. For us, that's the whole picture of the church, even. But for some people, that may be community. For some people, that may be, for some of you that listen, that may be some group that you're a part of. That's just kind of that's something that you're seeking to attain to, and it's something that's bigger than you. It's something that exists kind of outside of you, but yet pulls you up and encourages you. So whatever that is, connecting to that. But of course, for us, as we do this, we oftentimes talk about, God shows up and God shows out. And so that spiritual aspect, do you spend time with God in Scripture? Letting Him talk to you. We talked today about Psalm 119 as a love song to the Word of God. It's the longest passage in the Bible, or the longest chapter, I think, in the Bible. And it is just packed full of things that are praising God, speaking to us. And, there's been so many times I've gone through something and the Word of God has helped me through it. Just to have read a verse or to see something that someone has talked about from a verse. And then spending time in prayer with Him. We talked about Jacob wrestling with God before he went to meet Esau, a really tough time, but he wrestled with Him and it changed him. It changed the way he walked. It changed his name. It did so much in changing him. And we see people all through the Bible, Daniel fervently praying. You see, Paul praying for the thorn in the flesh to go away, and God sort of helped give him a new mind and give him Himself to get through those things. Jesus praying in the garden for a tough day that was going to happen, tough couple of days, I guess. And so Jesus praying and wrestling with God, and those moments change us. And so spending time with God in prayer, and then of course kind of coming back to the social aspect, is spending time in worship. But worship is a very individual thing, but it's also a very connected to a family thing.
Well, the scriptures, you talk about meditation and kind of go into that during the seminar, and we won't go into too deep on that. But the scriptures are meant to be meditated on, and really the Hebrew understanding of meditation is to mutter. It's almost like below your, no one can hear you, but it's that inner conversation. You're meditating on it. It's readily available. You see it with Jesus in the temptation, 40 days. He immediately answers with Scripture. There's this aspect that he's been meditating out there, convening with God, and there is some isolation there, but he also returns. He goes. He doesn't stay forever, although 40 days is a long time, but he's out there convening with God.
Hey, parents and young adventurers, are you ready to embark on an extraordinary journey? Introducing The Adventures of Ben and Travis and the Worry Coaster, a thrilling ride through the ups and downs of mental health in our new children's book. Join our dynamic duo as they navigate the twists and turns of their emotions while discovering the courage to conquer their worries. Pre-order your ticket to adventure now at benandtravis.com/books and be among the first to embark on this roller coaster of resilience. Let's turn worry into wonder and empower kids to embrace their feelings with bravery and hope. Buckle up, it's going to be an unforgettable ride.
Well, after some technical difficulties, video cut out on us. We'll continue, and we'll just jump on this train. So you mentioned earlier that we have eaten a lot of ice cream.
We have.
Maybe not a lot.
It's
I don't know. It was a
fantastic.
lot.
It was a
I
lot.
got a double dip the first night, and then I went with a single dip this time. And a single dip here at Tom's ice cream is like 3 cones worth.
Huge.
It's
Yeah.
a lot. So
Yeah.
all over. But so the Adventures of Ben and Travis and the Worry Coaster. Question of the day. That's the children's book coming out soon.
Yep.
Lord willing, creeks don't rise. Is which was better for you, right? I had the Tom's Tracks, which is very similar to Moose Tracks, the night before with warm marshmallow and
Drizzle.
chocolate over the top. And then today I had the mango sorbet, right? Not to get too, far-fetched on my language there, but the mango sorbet. So what did you have the first night?
So the first night, I did 1 scoop, but I did a 1 scoop sundae. So I had bananas with vanilla and strawberry, kind of like a strawberry sauce sort of thing. I mean, it had strawberries in it, but they were kind of cut up almost like a jelly type thing, but drizzle. And there was a couple of cashews that kept getting passed around the table. Might have kind of eat a few of those with it too. And I think mine had the marshmallow on top. I just didn't realize what that was. But yeah, really good. And then today I had a Georgia peach ice cream, 1 scoop of it, and it was phenomenal. I'd probably have to say the peach was my favorite. I did get a bite of the sorbet that you had today, and it was pretty solid too. Yeah. They didn't really mix well together because mine was really sweet. Yours was really tart. But I tried to just try the tart, and I was like, I could have eaten a bowl of that too. But I'll go with the peach. I mean, I loved the fruit and all that stuff too, but the peach was good.
Yeah, I ate sorbet, so I thought that was a little better for me, so I could eat worse later.
Yeah, probably true. Yeah.
And so, but I'm gonna go.
We saw some people with some crazy.
I'm gonna go with the Tom's Tracks because man, there's nothing like it's like a Rocky Road Moose Tracks type thing, and you get the little bitty small Reese cups in there, and then it's it's just so good. I would lay off one or the other of the chocolate syrup or the marshmallow. Probably wouldn't do both again. Probably stick with the marshmallow so that you get the Rocky Road type approach. So that's what I'm going with.
I think Donnie had peanut butter with peanut butter drizzled over the top of it. So it was like, like a peanut butter drizzle. And I think he got that both times.
Yeah.
I think I saw somebody with peanut butter with caramel drizzle on it. That looked good too. Man, I saw a bunch of stuff that looked good. Everything they brought out looked phenomenal. So if you're ever going through Zanesville, my understanding is that they make it in the basement of Tom's, and
it's
they
an old
bring
school
it
joint,
up.
man.
Oh yeah,
it's an old school looking deal.
I think been around since the 40s or 50s.
I think that's what they said, something like that.
So it's been around a long time. Still looks pretty, original inside. Got a lot of kind of historical stuff hanging up. Reminds me of Trowbridge's back at home a little bit, but it's worth the stop. If you're going through Zanesville, I'd pull over and find Tom's Ice Cream. So there's a free thing. We're not getting any kickback.
But if you
as far
like,
as we know,
we'll
we're
take
not.
it. We'll take
They're
it,
not
Tom's.
sponsoring us, but you guys could. We also had donuts from, I think they said Don's or Dom's or something.
Yeah.
Here in town, and those were really good this morning. So
Yeah, so those guys,
we have eaten
if you're
great.
if you're ever rolling through Zanesville or Somerset, check out Norval Park Church of Christ in Zanesville or Somerset Church of Christ in Somerset. And we've been inviting those guys to come down to M2Y in November so they can get some Trowbridges and
you guys
some
are
ice
welcome
cream,
to come
all that good
as
stuff
you
too.
listen to M2Y as well. Registration should be open soon.
All right. Well, we'll talk at you again later.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.